Hi there and welcome. These are your handover videos for your Coachman VIP 545. These are some basic walkthrough videos on how to set up and operate the caravan as if you were coming on or off site. Starting off first, we have your black hitch head here and then your black lever. That has to be pulled up to be able to wind down the jockey wheel onto the tow bar. It will snap down like that, push up that red button and expose a green ring. You then have your breakaway cable just here. If you have an eye point, it has to go through that. If not, wrap it around the tow bar. You have your handbrake just here. To disengage, you press down. To engage, you flick up. Now, these can come up with a little bit of force, so make sure that you do keep your head away, essentially. You then have your jockey wheel just here, which is used to level the caravan. And then you have 13-pin electric. So if you do have 7-pin adaptation, make sure to bring yourself an adapter. 2 points side to side and 2 points at the back, we have inserts for your legs. The caravan itself comes with a leg winder, or if you want to do it a bit quicker, you can get yourself a 19mm drill bit and a power drill just to make it that bit quicker. Do not attempt to jack up or level the caravan using your legs though, they are simply used for stabilisation. Now, we're using our test equipment today here, so I have a red propane gas bottle. I'd always recommend propane over butane as it has a better performance in colder weather. And it has an in-date gas hose. Now, black gas hoses run for 5 years, and as you can see there, this one is dated 2025, taking it to 2030. What you need to do is connect the gas hose onto the actual gas bottle itself, and then onto the regulator just here. Now, hand tighten that as much as you physically can, and then just nip it up using a spanner. You don't want it ridiculously tight, as the gas hose does have a washer inside, so just give it a little bit of a nip up and then just turn on the actual gas bottle. Do be aware that these are left-hand thread though. Coming around the other side, starting off first, we have your flue. Your flue is used to get clean air in and out of your boiler when operating on gas. Don't have to do anything with this except make sure it's nice, clean and tidy. Then just here we have your water pump. So the pump itself connects into this part. All you have to do is press in, then to remove you press in on the trigger to pull out, which I'll show you in a little bit. Do make sure though that your strainer sits at the bottom of the acrowl. Next to it we have your battery locker. As you can see, situated in here we have your leisure battery. If you ever need to connect or disconnect the battery, you either need a 12 or 13mm spanner or a battery spanner like this one. You then have your plug-in for your mains just here, which plugs in nice and easy, and then you have your point for your motor mover ignition there. Motor mover will be gone over on collection. Then lastly, we have your toilet function. So first up, we have the 2 points where your wastewater is going to come out of. You'll need some 28.5mm waste pipe to then feed into a waste master that you can empty out at the appropriate point on site. Then just here we have your cassette. Now, do be aware that you have to have the toilet in the closed position to be able to remove it, but pull up on the orange handle, pull out towards you. Now this does also extend out and up, so it can be used similar to a carry-on suitcase. And once you're at your emptying point on site, twist this handle to the side, twist the lid off, like so. Then what you want to do is tilt, and at the same time as tilting, continually press the vent button. Now, my recommendation is afterwards, open up this compartment, open up that, shut it all back up. After you've put in some fresh water, give it a bit of a shake and give it another clean out. Then on this cap here we have measurements in both imperial and metric, and that is for your blue chemical. Blue chemical goes into here, back onto the cap, twist the head to the side and push it in. So the orange handle sits behind the white teeth, so that it can't be removed. And just here we have your flush tank. Your flush tank has the capacity to hold around 12 litres. However, I wouldn't recommend putting in any more than 10, as you don't want to overfill the compartment. You can also add a little bit of blue chemical, which works as a bleach without being, pink chemical, which works as a bleach without being corrosive and makes it smell a bit nicer. However, don't put actual bleach down this part because it's all plastic and will corrode. Now, you don't want to travel with either of these two full, so just up here, got a little bung to drain off any remaining water from there. The caravan itself will be fully drained off before you leave with it. Then underneath your right hand side seat, you have all of this here, so I wouldn't recommend storing any heavy items under here. You have your Alder boiler just there, and then you have that yellow switch, which you can see. Now, it's currently facing the upright position. What that switch is, it's your drain valve. When it's in the upright position, that means that it is allowing the water to drain out. You flick it over to the horizontal position, and that means that it is allowing the flow of water to come through. Anytime you come off site, flick it up. November to March, have it up permanently unless you're actively using the caravan. And when you just need to use it, just flick it down. This box here is your sergeant alarm mainframe. So when you engage the alarm, that is the brain for it. And speaking of brains, this is your brain box for your motor mover, which you can remove that back panel if you ever need to do a reset. This box on the side is your solar panel regulator. You don't have to do anything with that. That will automatically regulate itself. And then just here we have your trips and fuses. As you can see, all your trips in the upright position and all your fuses in the correct position. If you need any more information on them, please have a look inside your book pack, and I'd always recommend to carry some extra fuses across the caravan with you. Then just here we have your main control panel. So we're currently on, but when you need to turn the actual interface on, you press the master button. So master off, now master on. What I can then do, if I can try and get that to focus, it's going to come a little bit weird on my camera. So it gives me the time, then gives me some user settings, which I can press enter, and it allows me to circulate through. So I'll read out what it says. Contrast, then it says beeps, which is standing for when I select something it will beep. Standby, 230 volt lost, so that's on. It will tell us if the leisure battery is low as well. Firmware and main menu. And then if I want to change any of the settings, I press enter, and then I use these two buttons to change. Next up is internal temperature. So currently it says it's -1. The internal temperature on this, in comparison to the Alder panel, will differ slightly. So we'll go back through. Next up, leisure battery voltage. It says 13.4 volts are coming in. Now, as I'm plugged into mains, that will be an accurate representation of the amount coming from mains. If I didn't have it in, that will give the representation of only the leisure battery. And that is that there. And then we have the pump button. So just here we have your sink. So open up this here. This is your water pump. So as we saw the connection point outside, this we just press in, and to remove, press in the trigger and pull out. You have this plastic cap to go over the top of the ack roll to ensure no nastiness gets in, and then at the bottom we have your strainer. That's crucial that the strainer itself sits at the bottom of the barrel to allow the maximum potential of water to come through. Now when we press that pump button, which I'm not doing today, what we would do is ensure that the ack roll is completely full, and then we'd come over to the taps and we'd open it up. We'd open it up on both hot and cold, and what you're looking for is a nice steady continuous stream. When you turn it on, especially if you haven't used it in a fair bit of time, the system may be overly pressurized, so you may get an odd cough and splutter. If that continues, however, check that your drain valve's in the correct position, check the strainers at the bottom of the barrel and that it's plugged in correctly, and then come back and just open up on both hot and cold, and you want to let it run for around about 30 seconds. 30 seconds will draw a nice amount of water into the van and out of the tap. Next we have lights, and then you can just use your respective light switches. And then we have awning. So awning on, and as you can see, awning light is on just there. Really easy interface just there, tells you exactly what it is. Then next up we have the outer panel. So the outer panel right now is currently off, and you can see when I press it in, there's a little green light there. It does its main startup point there, but that green light will stay on continuously. Both of these will sort of fade off, as you can see just now, so it doesn't disturb you whilst it sleeps. However, that green light will stay up. So as mentioned, the internal temperature will differ. So it says it's 6 degrees here. Then we have the main interface. So first up, we have the house with the thermometer. This is for the internal temperature of the caravan that you desire. It goes up and down in 0.5s. You can also press and hold it. And it goes up to a maximum of 30. Now, whatever you have set it to is what the temperature of the caravan it will get to. It's not an instantaneous process. It does take around about an hour or so just to get it all set up. Then we have the shower icon. Now, the shower icon is representative of water. So currently, as you can see, it's completely off. Go midway, that will get the water temperature to around about 40 to 50 degrees. Then we have full. That will prioritise the heating of the water itself over the heating of the van for 30 minutes. It will get the water temperature to around 60 degrees. After those 30 minutes, it will then drop it midway. That happens no matter what. Then we have your energy sources. So we can either have 1, 2 or 3 kilowatt of mains. Now do be aware that some sites do not have 3 kilowatt capacity, so always check. Or we have gas, or we can have a mixture. Then pressing this cog goes through to some additional settings. Not going to run through these as we have set it to what we believe is the most user-friendly interface to use. However, if you'd like to have a look inside of your book packs to see what they represent, please do so. Then to turn it off, pressing the button, no more heating. And just here we have your toilet operation, which is bog simple. Lift up the lid, pressing the button, and you can hear that gentle whir. That is what the motor would push around any water inside the system. Then to remove the waste, press away the handle, opens up the compartment, and then you have to have it shut back to be able to remove the cassette. Then on the top, when the cassette is full, there'll be a red light telling you to empty. Then here we have your hob grill and oven. All of this operates off gas, minus the electric plate. Electric plate, spin it to whatever mark, and it will have a light there showing you that it's getting to temperature. Everything else, you press in the dial, twist it to the side, and then press in your igniter. Now, it may be a case when you first come to use it, the flames will ignite and then shut off, or it may be a case it takes a while to actually get lit. That is natural. That is the gas making its way through its system. So if it does that, just turn it off and then just redo it. This is what it looks like when they're all lit. As you can see, nice steady blue continuous flames. Turn it off, flick it back to the central position. Then it's the same concept for the grill. So let's see if I can do both of these with one hand. Might have to pause it. There we go, and we can see the flame on both sides. And we have thicker flame just there. Again, it may be a case one side will shoot up and then the other side. Then lastly, the oven. Let's see if I can do this one with one hand. Sturdy. There we go, and we can see the oven all nice and lit. Then again, turn it off back to the central position. Only other real thing to note, you need to travel with this glass sheet down, but don't put it down until all of these burners are cold. You can travel with the gas hose on, but make sure the bottle itself is off. Then just here we have your fridge operation. So, fridge is currently off. Turn it on, press it on this button, it will flash up and go to its most recent memory, which in this case was made on full capacity. Then just here, we can change what settings we use. So, we'll go from where we are. First up, we have mains. So, next, I'll press it in and it will go to the battery symbol. That is representative of 13-pin electric for when you're towing. So we'll just press that back in because it will turn itself off. So press it in and you can see it flashes up with a hazard. Press it again, it will go over to gas. Now, I wouldn't recommend using gas until you've checked through all of this, but you'll gently hear it tick in. Then once it's finished ticking in, that means it's lit, but it will automatically do that. Press it again and it will go to A. Now A is representative of automatic, so it will automatically choose what the fridge thinks is the best source to use. Then we have the amount of power coming into the fridge, 5 being the most powerful, so it is going to chill it the quickest. However, even on full capacity, it takes around 4 hours for it to fully chill. Again, similar to the outer interface and the other one, there'll be a little light there to show you that it is on. However, to turn it off, press and hold in, no more green light, that means it's off.